So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. Today I actually wanted to talk about more so a theory I had after I saw, Goku's new limit-breaking form, and why is it that Goku is always one step ahead of Vegeta in terms of everything. Now, there's always the generic answer that most people give, and it's because Toriyama wanted him to be. You're not wrong. That's completely understandable. Like, for example, in the Daizenshu 4, he was asked, out of all your characters, which one is the most cool? And he answered, I think it's Goku, the always pure strongest in the universe. Goku is #1 after all. Now, this is obviously the most generic answer, is that Toriyama simply wants Goku to be the best because he's the protagonist. And I completely agree with that. That's obviously the most logical answer, at least in terms of a writing standpoint. But I wanted to go over more of a lore standpoint and try to explain why it is possible, even despite that Goku could still be stronger than Vegeta despite the clear gap they had during birth. Now, let's talk about what Vegeta is. Vegeta, when he was a kid, was always touted as being a genius. He was always touted as being, strong, part of this master lineage. I believe as a kid, he was also stronger than his father, King Vegeta. So he was literally stronger than the king of his race without even really training. He always had his dick sucked, and he was in an empire where power was everything at birth. And I really like this by Geekdom, actually. Geekdom brought this up to me in one of our collabs, actually. The Frieza Empire, when you were born, you were given a number, and that number determined your value in society and in the empire, and your fighting capabilities for the rest of your life. That's how you're determined. And Vegeta's was obviously massive. I mean, he was a prodigy since he was a kid, like I said. And in fact, there was no even the Frieza Empire, everyone in it didn't even really believe in training. The only one who really seemed to believe in training were mainly the low-class Saiyan warriors like Bardock, who after just getting their asses beat repeatedly found themselves on the verge of surpassing even the king, because these guys were so obsessed with the fact that they were born powerful and nothing could change that other people who didn't believe that were starting to overcome them, like Bardock, for instance. And then even then, Vegeta, after growing, he only goes from a power level roughly over 10,000 to 18,000. This is stated in the Daizenshu, obviously. And he didn't even become twice as powerful since he was 5 to a grown adult when he fights Goku. And, Kui is even yo, me and you had the same power level for fucking forever. What happened? So it's very clear Vegeta never actually trained or tried to increase his power level, and he was always a dominant force throughout the universe. He was one of the strongest people ever. All the planets he went to, he easily dominated with Nappa, stuff like that. However, Goku was a lot different. Goku, when he was a kid, constantly trained by Grandpa. He was trained by Grandpa Gohan. He was trained discipline. He was trained respect, and he was trained to learn about his body, because Goku wasn't gifted, and because he wasn't gifted, this would give him an advantage in the future that I will explain in a bit. But he trained with Roshi, learned a few things about his own ki control. He had to do everything the hard way. He also had to take the Ultra Divine Water, which obviously may have increased his potential. We don't really know, but that actually may have increased his potential. He also, trained with Kami, the god of Earth. He trained to look within himself and learned how to meditate. He learned everything about himself, and he learned how to see through illusions. He learned how to sense energy. He learned all of this through sheer training. Whereas Vegeta relied on everything he did to be through his potential and through his Saiyan blood. So for example, during the Frieza saga, you'll notice Vegeta's just relying, someone beat the fuck out of me so I can get stronger. Whereas Goku's I'm gonna train 100 times gravity, or I'm gonna train with King Kai, blah, blah, blah. You can see where I'm going with this. And also training with King Kai and learning the Spirit Bomb is also a great way for Goku to learn more about natural energies and, how to harness his own energy, because Kaioken is an amplification of himself. So despite this power gap that Vegeta may have had during, childbirth, this seems to be surpassed. And also the thing with Saiyans is that their power levels when they're first born, it seems to only matter during that time. It doesn't seem to actually affect their overall potential. So for example, if Goku and Vegeta are both at 18,000, they're probably going to grow at the same exact rate, for example. Although Goku obviously started at a much lower level, but Vegeta never did anything with it. And, this training gap, this training experience that Goku has is really shown later on. And a good example of this is, for example, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. In the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, Vegeta goes balls deep for a whole year straight, and he learns how to go Ultra Super Saiyan. He also ascended Super Saiyan, but he also learns Ultra Super Saiyan as well, but he doesn't use it. And Goku learns this within like not too long at all. And he's like, you know what? This form is fodder. This form is trash. We're going to go with something else. And this shows a clear indication that Goku understands more about combat and how it works, because Goku has been in a lot more, experiences where he's had to use his mind in combat and, train his body to be better. So he learned, mastered Super Saiyan, and surpassed Vegeta by a fuck ton. And he even left the hyperbolic time chamber early because, and I quote, because it's a super strain on your body, and it's actually negative to be in there. And this is kind of ironic that Vegeta keeps running in there all the time, even though Goku said it's bad for you. Goku then trains in the afterlife and does more meditation, while Vegeta keeps spamming the gravity chamber for some reason. For some reason, he thinks the gravity chamber on spam is going to be great. And the thing with, training and working out is you got to mix it up a little bit, obviously, or else your body's not going to adapt to certain things. It's going to hit a plateau, and Vegeta just kind of grinding through his plateaus with one set of training is kind of bad. And also, we eventually see Vegeta start to get the hint, and he decides, you know what, maybe Goku's learned from all these different people, because, your own potential and intuition can only go so far. I mean, learning from millions of years of experience or thousands of years from other, martial arts masters is probably better than just relying on your own intuition like Vegeta does. Vegeta finally gets rid of his ego and decides to train with Whis, and the second he does, him and Goku are like equals again. So it's very clear that Vegeta and Goku, obviously now are on this similar mindset. Although Vegeta seems to be slacking once again, because he doesn't have the foundation that Goku has. He doesn't have that training foundation of understanding and meditating within himself. And this is also shown in Whis' training as well, because after Whis' training, Goku's sleeping, and here's Vegeta out back trying to do curls while Goku's asleep trying to surpass him. And it's like, that's not how training works. I mean, if you know anything about working out, what working out is basically, it may be different obviously for key users, but what working out really is that you tear apart your muscles by lifting weights and overstraining your muscles. And the strength is actually gained by when you rest, when your muscles rebuild themselves. That's when they actually grow stronger. So while Vegeta is fucking busting his ass trying to re-tear his muscles with the same exact weight over and over again, Goku's muscles are just sitting there growing stronger, and he is also, like I said, has that foundation which allows him to tap into stronger and more potent forms as he understands his body more. Anyways, guys, that was just my little theory. I've been thinking about this for a while. It's a little bit different, I know, but like I said, I just wanted to do it. Hope you enjoyed it regardless. Until next time.